Alright, this is the Unit 4 study guide problem number 2. When you first start this problem, you have this beautiful triangle, not marked up at all, but you're told a bunch of stuff. So we want to go ahead and start filling out what we know. So for starters, we know that angle EBA is congruent to angle CDA, so we mark that. So we got our two congruent angles right there. We're also told that line segment CD is congruent to line segment AE, so we can go ahead and mark that. And again, looking at this picture, it clearly does not look like these things are true, but that's okay. You can't go by what it looks like. Just follow the numbers, and life will be awesome. We are also told that EB equals BC equals 6, which means that EB and BC both equal 6, so we can mark that. And finally, we're told that AB equals 7. Alright, now seeing where to go next can be super tricky. But you can recognize that since we have these two congruent angles right there, the purple angles, and we also have this angle here that they share, we actually have two triangles that are similar by the angle-angle proportionality. Because the big triangle has the purple angle right there, angle D, and the small triangle has angle ABE congruent, and then like I said, they share that other one. So at this point, what I'm going to do is redraw my triangles next to each other from scratch so I can look at them. I'm going to position them in the same orientation so that I can easily look and compare appropriately corresponding sides. So that's going to look like this. So now that I've redrawn them, it's much easier to see how these triangles are in fact similar. And like I said, it's so much easier now to compare corresponding parts. So we want to find AE and we want to find ED. In order to do that, we're going to also need to find AD, the entire length of that side. And notice on AC, I did 7 plus 6 to get 13 there. Now, here's where we got to use the fact that AE is congruent to CD. And we don't know what it is. We don't know what the length of that is. So I'm just going to call it X. But I'm going to call it X in both since they are congruent. X has to be the same. Now I can go ahead and set up a proportion. And check this out. I'm going to look at my small triangle. I'm going to go X over 6. Now I'm going to go to my big triangle and do 13 over X. Now I just need to cross multiply to get X squared equals 13 times 6, and I can simplify 13 times 6 to 78. And then in order to figure out what X is, I need to take the square root of both sides. And when I do that, I will get X equals the square root of 78, which if you want to write as a decimal is roughly 8.832. So that's sweet. I'm off to a good start. I've found AE. Now I just want to figure out what ED is. And like I said, in order to do that, I need to figure out what AD is first and then do some subtraction. So to figure out what AD is, again, I just need to set up the appropriate proportion. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and replace those x's with the square root of 78, since that's what we found it as. And I am actually going to leave it as the square root of 78 because I like exact numbers. If you want to put a decimal, it should be okay too. So now I'm going to label the side AD as Y, just because I like to use single letter variables. You can also just leave it as AD. It's up to you. But now I'm going to set up the proportion Y over square root of 78 equals 7 over 6. And I'm going to simplify that by multiplying by the square root of 78 on both sides to get Y equals 7 times the square root of 78, all divided by 6, which you can put in your calculator, and you will find that your answer is 10.3037, yada, 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 yada. But I'm just going to round it to 10.304, even though I was just talking about how much I like whole answers. That's okay. But again, I found AD, and I wanted to find AE and ED. I know AE, I know AD, so since AE plus ED equals AD, I can just do some subtraction. ED equals AD minus AE. Now I just need to substitute in those values that I found. I'll do ED equals 10.304, the value for AD, minus 8.832, the value for AE, to get 1.472. And now I'm done. And I found AE is roughly equal to 8.832, and ED is roughly equal to 1.472. Hooray! Hooray! Yeah! Woo! Yeah!